Welcome into another hour of CBS Sports HQ presented by Capital One. Jeremy St. Louis, happy to have you along as we get into a full slate of football games. Week 1 of the college football season is finally here. And as we take a look at some of the big games that are coming up this afternoon, Colorado State and Michigan gets us going at noon Eastern time. Michigan heavy favorites in that one. Oregon versus Georgia. Former Georgia defensive coordinator Dan Lanning, and now the head coach at Oregon, going to see his former team in Atlanta as 16.5-point underdogs. Oklahoma taking on UTEP, one of the 3:30 games. Another ranked game, Cincinnati taking on Arkansas. Razorback 6.5-point favorites as those two meet for the very first time in their respective program histories. And Conference USA champions UTSA are welcoming Houston as 4-point underdogs. All right, let's get into some picks for the Week 1 games. And because it's Week 1 with our guys, we're going quad box, the Wizard of Odds. Kenny White, all in black today. You know he means business. John Berger, Chip Patterson, and Mr. Football Game Plan himself, Emery Hunt, making us all look bad by wearing a tie today. All right, gentlemen, let's start. One of the big ranked games Saturday features the former defensive coordinator of the national champions, Dan Lanning, taking on going to Atlanta to face the Bulldogs, Georgia, the national champions, 16.5-point favorites with the total set at 54.5. On Friday, you called this one of the weekend's most dangerous games, John Berger. I'm going to start with you here to explain that.
I get nervous when Kenny's in a black suit. It means business. We'll get into that deeper in the show. So let's take a step back. There's two games, in my opinion, that you need to be careful of. And you're going to have to bet them because there's too much excitement. You're going to want to be part of them. And that's the Ohio State-Notre Dame game and obviously Georgia-Oregon. So what Vegas has done is kind of tighten down the numbers. So what would be a normal swim lane has gotten really, really tight. But we're going to do this anyway. In this particular game, I think you're going to have to place 3 bets on this game to make money. And what I mean by that is, obviously, I think Georgia's going to win the game on the money line. There's no value in that. But use it as a hedge. Take Oregon in the points and take the over in this situation. I think back to what Oregon did to Ohio State last year. They flew a couple of time zones, started it at 9 Pacific. I think everybody in the country, and certainly I did, I was certainly humbled after that experience. I thought they were going to get shoved around the offensive and defensive line. That didn't happen. You circle back to this year, you look at Georgia, all those draft picks off the defense really doesn't make a difference to me. That Georgia defense is going to be flying around. They've got 5-star athletes all over the place. I think this is a situation when you look at Oregon, I think they're going to have one of the top offensive lines, certainly top 10. You got Bo Nix at the quarterback position. He can get hot. He can go cold. I think we're going to get good Bo in this situation. I think Georgia wins the game. I think you take Oregon in the points. And in this situation, I think you take the over. You hedge those out correctly, I think you can make some money.
Yeah, John, early in the season, openers are, anything can happen. It really can, because we don't know what to expect from a lot of these teams. Some will come out clicking on all cylinders. Some will come out that the continuity just isn't there, and it's just not their day. It will happen. There will be upsets today. There's going to be a lot of upsets today. I guarantee you that, because it's year 2 of the upset with 6th-year seniors playing, 7th-year seniors playing. There is so much experience in college football. I love Oregon in this spot. The national champs playing in Atlanta, basking. You mentioned all the starters they lost on defense. Yeah. They do have a lot of talent returning, but they lost so much experience. So it's going to be a little bit of inexperienced defense, very talented, but up against a team that is not going to be, they're not going to be afraid of this situation. Oregon's ready to go. Dan Lanning has prepared his team very well for this game. We're getting 16.5 points with the Ducks. That's a nice cushion to start the year in a game that Oregon's going there to win this game. They're not going to just cover. They're going to win. Bo Nix is an SEC quarterback. He knows what he's up against. Oregon returns 10 players on offense with 8+ starts in their career and 16 on defense. And Dan Lanning knows how to prepare for Georgia. I'm sure there'll be some wrinkles we'll see in this game, but I think this game's going to be a very tough-fought game, and I think Oregon's in it all the way.
Who's that coming down the track? A mean machine in red and black. Are you kidding me? Georgia is going to roll this Oregon team. There is such a mismatch right now, and it starts with Bo Nix against this Georgia defense because Bo Nix is 0-3 against Georgia. And not only that, but Bo Nix is 0-3 against the spread against Georgia. This is not an advantage for Oregon to have the former Auburn quarterback in there leading this offense. I think that it is going to be very much a game that Georgia can rely on its defense and then just lean on Oregon's defense, which, by the way, while it has some fantastic talent throughout the defense, Noah Sewell's one of my favorite linebackers in the country. Justin Flo, when healthy, can be very good. But statistically, this talented Oregon defense was kind of middling. And so I think you lean on the run game, you lean on the best tight end room in the entire country, and all of a sudden it's maybe 0-0 at the end of the first quarter, 14-7 at halftime. Then boom, boom, a couple explosive plays in the third quarter, and the boa constrictor completes its strike. Georgia pulls away, wins by 20. I'll lay the points with the reigning champs.
I'm right there with you, Chip. I see this one very easily. It's going to be 27-20 Georgia, so I'm laying those points with the Bulldogs. It's hard to cover one tight end. Georgia has four. You have Eric Gilbert. You have Brock Bowers. You have the freshman Oscar Delp. You have Darnell Washington. They're going to load up and run this football. They're going to take their timely shots deep down the field with McConkey. So I just love the fact that they still have a lot of the key pieces in place. And on defense, they're facing Bo Nix, who is prone to a big play going the other way. So I love Georgia in this spot. I see it as a slow chokeout for the Ducks.
All right, so the guys.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.